New Swabia, I think it was called, and he followed suit and went there and told the country that they were looking for whaling fat. That was the cover story. They're in the middle of a war. They're trying to take over the world, and they're looking for whale fat.
Yeah, that one's kind of,
they needed it for soap and margarine. That was their cover story. I guess if you questioned anything he put in the news, you'd get killed. So nobody bothered to question that. But they brought planes, and they planted flags as if they owned the place, and they took over New Swabia, that Queensland Mod area.
Uh-huh.
And, they created a secret base, and supposedly they found a cave that was 30 miles deep. And they found a geothermal lake, and, some other people believe it was a portal for aliens, and they found spacecraft, and there's all kinds of theories on that, but there must have been something to it, because like you said, a few years later, immediately after the war, in 1946, Bird goes down there.
Oh yeah,
Operation High Jump.
Yeah, and he didn't stay very long either.
No, he takes 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and, he had some hokey story, too. America claimed that his expedition was for training, for training soldiers. Again, you need to train soldiers in Antarctica? I don't know.
Well, but how could he, the soldiers or, the troops, I think there was 13 or 15 of them that got killed. And, the loss of a destroyer. How do you lose a destroyer in non-wartime? And, unless it was one of the ones they built during the war, it broke in half. But, he kind of made some statements after that, too, like our next war, could come from the Antarctica, not somewhere else.
Right. And I guess he was famous for keeping these meticulous journals, as he did on all his expeditions. But this journal that he kept was taken by the government. They confiscated it, which, of course, gets people like you and me a buzzing, and people are still buzzing about it.
Well, you wonder why.
Yeah.
I mean, is this like, I know that when you're in the military and you're sworn to secrecy, and they tell you what can happen to you, if you divulge anything. So, but, he did kind of say some little bits and pieces afterwards, and, it's never came out how, these troops just died. Didn't they lose some aircraft, too, or something? I was thinking I read where they lost some aircraft, too, which... it's kind of strange too, and they came back quite a bit sooner than they were supposed to. So,
and then they call it like mad ravings or whatever. But when he was about to die, he was talking about Hollow Earth and Mercury powered crafts, and he went to the North Pole too, and he got a little bit weird after that trip.
Wow.
He saw something for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people, if you ran across something and it was maybe leftover Nazis working with, aliens and, something strange. And, we don't know how the destroyer got it. I have not been able to find out, other than the destroyer was sunk. I have not found out how it was, sunk, what caused it to sunk. And I haven't been able to find out what happened actually to the troops,
right.
What killed them,
Were they the ones that were by his side, when they saw whatever they saw, and they, didn't want to kill Bird off because that would have been real suspicious. But I don't know. It's just, the whole story doesn't add up, and I can't believe how reporters back in the day weren't so pushy with getting answers that sounded like ridiculous. Can you picture reporters today? If we had this story, they'd be in Antarctica.
Oh, yeah.
With a million cameras set up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't try to BS me. I know something's going on, and I'm going to make a name for myself and lots of money busting this story wide open. And nobody seemed to do that. Everybody was so accepting back then.
Well, too, I think, too, if the government, told them, hey, keep it quiet, they kept it quiet. I mean, look at what happened when Kennedy was president with all his affairs. The news media knew what was going on, but they didn't say anything. I mean, they had respect, but I'm sure they were told to keep their mouths shut or else. Nowadays, as you know, right now, that's why when I've started my show lately, I've been saying the fake news. I mean, we're told almost everything you hear, read, and listen to is all fake. So, I mean, that's got me kind of really concerned what's going on. Like, they don't want you to believe anything. So, going back in the 40s and going in the 50s, I mean, the culture was different, a lot different. Of course, you didn't have the internet. Now, if somebody sees something, you go and you post it on your cell phone or you post it on your laptop or whatever. Everybody in the world sees it within a matter of split seconds.
It's harder to keep a lid on something big, but then on the other side of the coin, I don't want to get political on your show or anything, but the way that a lot of the media treats Donald Trump, I mean, I'm not I'm not a huge fan of the man by any means, but talk about getting ganged up on. Geez.
Oh yeah.
It's to the point where they're trying to have an opposite effect. Like you're saying, they're covering for Kennedy. Well, for him, they're just trying to get him taken out. They're trying to take him out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power. They're trying to shape what everyone is thinking, and then so you can't make up your own mind.
Well, you turn on Facebook or any of the online things like that, and the first thing you do, you see propaganda just every which way.
Yeah.
And what's really bad is young people see it, and their mind is not fully developed yet, so they read it. And guess what? A lot of them believe it, and that's what's bad. And I guess, there's fake news. But I think, like, when we go back to Antarctica and underground and all that stuff, hollow earth and all that stuff, I think it was covered up, and it's still being covered up. I don't think the government would want to admit there was things going on, and still probably going on, because I don't care. I've had guests on here say, the American public or the public of the world wouldn't panic. I disagree. I think a majority of people would freak out really fast if the government said, hey, there's aliens walking up among us. Maybe the person you're married to is an alien. I don't know. But people would freak out. I mean, society would, I hate to say it, I think the stock market and everything would just take a big tumble like you never seen in your life.
Or certain circles are in conjunction with this, whatever has been found or whoever has been found. They might have an alliance for all we know. Something is definitely going on, and I'm to the point in my life where I definitely don't trust the government, and I haven't trusted the government probably since the 90s during that first Gulf War. That was mighty fish. And to now, the media too. Now the media to me is complicit, and you don't really know who to believe anymore. It seems like a lot of people who might be onto something end up dead. So I don't know. That has happened. There's been some famous scientists and stuff that were actually starting to speak out about certain things, and all of a sudden they either had a heart attack, or a few days later they died in their car flipping off, off the road, and
And it's strange, and it wasn't like one or two. I mean, if you actually do a lot of research, you'll see there was quite a few in certain time spans.
Right. Yeah. Recently, some Russian guy who was involved in that uranium one was just killed in a car accident the other day. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they try to keep everybody in turmoil, inside. So they don't know, what is going on. I mean, you look at the Nazi era. I mean, they were really good at propaganda. And I think it's advanced so much now that, yeah. And it's scary. I know we're changing the subject, but I had a DOD person on here who used to be with the DOD. He decided to get out of it because he wasn't happy and pursued other things. But he was in it for 10 years in the upper status of it. And he told me that everything, you say on your telephone, if you say the wrong word, it's being recorded. Everything you text, send to somebody, it's being stored somewhere. And it's basically, if you do the wrong thing, they can sit there and make you look bad no matter who you are.
Right. Because we've all said things that are not cool. Everybody has said things that are not cool in whatever. You think you're being funny or you're being stupid, whatever the deal is. And it's in the privacy of your own home. And by the way, since you're on this subject, it's not just your phones anymore. It's not just your TV. Let's throw Alexa, the Amazon thing, into the mix. I mean, for crying out loud, you're asking to be you're bugging yourself all day. What the heck? Now Amazon hears everything that you say. That one I don't get. Why would anybody want that?
I don't know. That's what he was mentioning too. Like, it'd be really scary, right? In your bedroom if you left your laptop on and on a Saturday night, you're putting on a show for somebody somewhere. But it's not just that. I mean, your TV, he said a lot of the new TVs are designed that if they want to, they can actually, if the government wants to listen to you in the room, they'll be able to do that with your TV off. Your cell phones, he was saying that your cell phone can be turned off. And they can still be, listening to you if they want to. Going into the store with your charge card, right? You got a chip in your card. As soon as you walk in that store, they know who you are. They know what your buying habits are. They keep track of your buying habits. Not just them, but the government. So they know where you're spending your money at, what you're buying. And it's really getting scary.
They've got, as you're talking about this, they've got, and I can't remember if it's Norway or Sweden. It's one of those countries. One of their major corporations is microchipping their employees.
I'm sorry there. Got sidetracked with my dog for a second. Say, I warned you.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, and I think all this technology has been, I hate to say it, it's growing so fast. And you go like from Antarctica, if it was a base there, in the Hollow Earth with aliens giving, at that time maybe working with the Germans because the Germans discovered them. And maybe it's just the technology with the Germans was advancing so fast with the jets and rocketry, which we weren't. They're the first ones to come up with could have and would have had a nuclear weapon long before us. And their technology was just so far advanced compared to any other part or any country in the world.
Oh, exactly. And I think Hitler might have been onto something, not just with the aliens, but this whole occult thing that he belonged to. I don't know if people realize it, but one of the first things that he took, we all know that he took a bunch of artifacts every time he invaded a city. But one of the first items that he took, if not the first, was the Spear of Destiny.
Uh-huh. Why don't you tell people what that is? A lot of people don't know. And I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Well, the the Spear of Destiny